Alright, today before we get started on our next factory, let's unlock a very useful recipe. I'm so glad this is a MAM option instead of a hard drive option.
Turbo fuel unlocked. This upgrade to regular fuel is optimal for fuel-powered generators, jetpacks, and fulfilling long-distance trucker fantasies.
If you use turbo fuel in trucks, you're a sucker. Speaking of turbo fuel, one of my hard drives here has a turbo heavy fuel recipe, and I'm not really sure when you would ever want to use that. Anyways, so here I've upgraded one of the coal mines at our steel mill and belted 60 coal to over here. And nearby is a sulfur node. This one is impure, so I have a Mark II miner here, so it also generates another 60 sulfur. And that is the perfect amount needed for this building I've got going on over here. So let's go ahead and belt this on over. And this building will hold 3 assemblers. 2 of them will be used to make gunpowder, and 1 of them will be used to make the compacted coal that is needed for turbo fuel. That's also another thing that had to be done by hard drives. Or, I mean, it was done in the MAM, but it requires a hard drive to unlock. I just want to mention that previously, if you wanted to do turbo fuel, you would have to roll your hard drives. This was also back when it was a one and done deal, and you also, when a hard drive was resourced, you had to pick an option. You couldn't hold it in a library like you can do now, which then removes the options in those drives out of the pool for future drives. So yeah, you had to do that. Hope you got compact coal in one hard drive, and then a second time to hope you got turbo fuel. Now with this compacted coal, we're going to do 30, gonna overclock it a bit. This will use up 30 of both the coal and the sulfur. And then the black powder over here will also use, each using 15 of sulfur and coal, for a total of 30, clean 60. Now we just need to get our resources pulled on over towards the oil nodes that I've shown off last video. And I'm going to go with the conveyor pull method. And then once we get over to here, there is this water. Don't know why the game is lagging every time I open up the build menu. But yes, there's some water right on over here, and we're going to need some. Luckily, just one pump is all we'll need. Then we'll bring that right on over towards the oil wells. Signs are also very helpful in letting me know where I'm supposed to be building what once I start actually building things. So I pre-built the factory and then placed markers down so that when I then build it for the video, I know where things should be going. So I'm having some slight issues getting water going. What I do off screen is I build a pump just in case head lift is an issue, I also install a valve so that the water won't go back down into the you know, the lower pipes. Now the first thing I'm gonna get moved on over here, which will be the first project of this little factory, is bringing in the compacted coal. And we're gonna want to have this just on the outside. Disregard those containers, it's just holding material, don't worry about it. Anyways, I now have one oil well piped by itself over there. That one is an impure one. Then I have two other normal ones, and then one other impure one that's connected with a normal one. And that second set is going to be piped on over to these refineries over here. So now that we have fuel being made, the residual product of fuel is the polymer resin, whereas rubber and plastic had residual fuel as its byproduct. Then we'll just need to get the rest of this stuff piped on over. Also, correction, I believe it's 2 impure oil nodes. And each of those produce 30, or no, 60. And fuel takes up 60 per minute. Alright, so now we have fuel being made, which will go into some fuel generators. But remember, I also unlocked some turbo fuel recipes, or a turbo fuel recipe. So I'm going to want these two over here to pipe the fuel into these refineries, which will then make turbo fuel, which needs more fuel and compacted coal. 15 coal each, that will use up to 30 compacted coal being made in the previous building. And I think in the future I should probably start spacing my stuff out. And this is just to kind of show off turbo fuel a bit, so that's why I'm not going like all crazy. That'll be for a future video. For now, though, just want to show off, you know, making some. And hey, may as well get some extra power. Alright, let's just speed things along while I pipe up the rest of this stuff. And of course, need to power things to get things actually being built or refined, I guess. Ooh, that consumption nudging right on up towards my production. But that's going to change real quick. Now we've got fuel coming in and turbo fuel being made. It's time to slap down some fuel generators. As you can see, they're pretty big. In fact, they are so big that for 1.0, they actually made the generators produce more power but also consume more fuel, just so you don't have to build as much. God, I wish there was a zoop mode for building pipes. Now each refinery is going to link up directly into another generator, into its own generator I should say, and then I'm going to triple slug them. Look at that, 625 for one generator. And luckily enough, triple slug generators will consume exactly as much turbo fuel as what's being produced out of a normal refinery. I'm also producing enough fuel for me to be able to triple slug the rest of these generators. And just look at that production line spike up and then spike back down. I need to like wait for everything to like fill up, so honestly I probably should just left it unoverclocked and let everything fill up. But whatever. So the refineries making turbo fuel will not produce more fuel than what is being produced. And the excess fuel will then go into the other generators. And again, once everything fills up, things will start coming out smoothly. I believe off screen, I also installed some valves to keep the fuel from back sloshing, you know, to the front of the line. Anyways, now that we got the fuel going on, let's struggle a bit with trying to get these conveyor holes. Again, maybe I should space my stuff out some more, because then you get this horrible clipping. But whatever, it's not like I'm going to be looking at this factory for long. Just want to double check. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at all that power. The consumption line was so close, now it's so far. Anyways, time to take care of the resin. Side note, I've never done this in previous playthroughs, but God, I really love using splitters and mergers and connecting them directly into conveyor lifts. Now we're going to want to run the resin all the way over to here. Right on over to where I've got that water pipe waiting. Time for even more refineries. And I'm sure you can see why I didn't build a roof over this building. Now what we can do with the resin is pretty much make residual recipes of plastic, rubber, and as well as fabric. This is the only way to automate making fabric that isn't... Well, the only other way to make fabric is to use mycelia, and you can't automate gathering that. And I am making enough resin to be able to keep up. Well, not exactly keep up. I think whatever's at the very end is slightly undersupplied, but that's fine. There we go. All of the resin is now no longer an issue. The fuel generator should be operating at 100% uptime. Actually, correction, I am not making residual rubber with those. My bad. Also, yeah, we're having some more fuel problems, but over time, eventually everything will saturate. Yeah, like that problem right there. But everything is being produced. It's just a case of pipes filling up and back sloshing, which is frustrating. But okay, there we go. Then I fixed it. I believe so, at least. Alright, now for using up that other oil well. As well as the black powder that we've got going on. I did this thing where I ran the belt, like, you know how we can do wall mounts? Surrounding the factory, I have some 1-meter walls. Maybe I put 2 of them up. But yeah, that way I just don't accidentally run off the side. But they're also very convenient for setting up some wall mounts. Anyways, for these refineries, one will be making rubber and the other will be making plastic, and that'll use up all the oil out of this well. And now these refineries up here will be used to take care of the heavy oil residue from these refineries. I've got this one connected to 2 other refineries, which will be taking in the black powder to make gunpowder, because gunpowder is black powder and heavy oil. And it uses up all the black powder that we've got. Well, at least these 2 will use up all the black powder that we've got coming in. Correction, it'll only use 2/3. The rest will be used later on. And then that last one is just to get rid of any petroleum coke, or to turn into petroleum coke. And then it's immediately sunk, so we don't have to worry about... We don't have to worry about, you know, the other thing filling up with heavy oil residue. Though I'm not quite sure... Wait, what am I doing here? Okay, this must be where I realized my mistake. Oh god, I swear, I swear at some point I make the other gunpowder or black powder go into the into this other one. Oh my god, what am I doing here? I'm gonna have to cut all this out. Alright, and now we're gonna need to throw all of the petroleum coke here into the sink I've got going on over here. And yes, right now I'm sinking all of my products from these refineries just to keep them going so that my fuel refineries don't clog up. And now we're going to want to bring all of our gunpowder, as well as in the future plastic will also be going to this corner of the factory. Before we get started on that though, we're going to need to build a few things using the nodes over here. Now here's a fun little factoid. In the last playthrough I've had with my brother, I used this area, both the oil well and the nodes here, as my mall, because I could make, you know, plastic rubbers. There's some recipes, I believe, that let you churn petroleum coke and iron into steel. So I was also having steel be made, and it was just making the basics for us. But hey, let's listen to some tunes. Let's try out that tape I found in the craters a few videos back. Now for this copper node, I underclocked it. We only need a few copper ingots. I mean, honestly, there's no real point in me underclocking it. It's not like I'm, you know, desperate for power. But also, I decided I didn't like the Song of Conquest tape. So anyways, let's get all those copper ingots moved on over to here. All the way onto the factory. And those copper ingots are going to be used to make copper sheets. And I'm going to overclock them to make 15 sheets per minute, which also means that they take up 30 ingots, and that all 3 of them will make the 90. And at the very end of the line here will be these assemblers. And we're going to start automating making some ammunition. Honestly, having 2 make ammo is kind of overkill, but ultimately I'm just kind of using what, like, going, okay, there's this much resources, how much of this can I make? Then we'll also make some circuit boards, which needs some of those copper sheets. And then Noblisk, which will require steel pipes. And that's what the iron and limestone here is for. We're going to be using the limestone and iron ore recipe to get more ingots in. And, oh god, this music's horrifying when sped up, Jesus Christ. Sounded like my Sega was glitching out. Anyways. And then, once again, we'll also need a smelter on the side that's underclocked to make just the exact amount of iron ingots I need. And yes, I'm sure you can guess I'm going to be using the iron steel pipes recipe to supply my steel pipes. In hindsight, I guess trying to fish around for the petroleum coke to steel recipe would have been a good use for the petroleum coke in the factory itself, but whatever. Alright, and showing off there, we only need 80 iron ingots per minute instead of the full 100. I only need 40 steel pipes per minute for the Nobilis. God, maybe I really do need to research Mark III power poles. Or maybe it just looks more of a mess to me just because I'm using power poles and not building in a building using the wall power connectors. So here's a fun fact about rifle ammo in the past. I feel like I've already talked about this, maybe I didn't. But I know for sure in the past I talked about how to put down map markers you had to build a beacon and physically place it at the location you want the marker to be. Well, when beacons were still a thing, you also had to use beacons to make your ammo. So yeah, making ammo was a real pain in the ass because beacons were not easy to automate. I guess the joke was that Fix-It tracks your bullets, but god, it was so good when they got rid of the beacon requirement. But then again, back then you also didn't need to make black powder, just regular, or a gunpowder. No, sorry. Let's try that a third time. Smokeless powder is what's used to make ammo. But back then, you only needed the black powder to make bullets, so got rid of beacons, but now you had to do some oil refining to get heavy oil. I still think that's a win, though. But yeah, we are almost done. We've got the, we just need to bring plastic over for the boards. We need to bring the smokeless powder over for the bullets, and then we need to bring black powder on over for the Noblest. And forgive me for all the clipping and spaghetti that's gonna happen, but I was kind of over it at this point. Just wanted to get things done. But there we go. There's all of our smokeless powder coming in. Now we've got bullets being made. Now we just need to bring in the rest of the black powder, because I produced more black powder than what is being consumed to make the smokeless. Wait, did I not? I think I may have not connected some black powder to the smokeless powder production. Well then, I'll need to fire up the game and I'll just put something in editing to see if I caught that later or not. I didn't. Anyways, time to get our Noblest made. Now I'm going to need to disconnect this stuff from the sink and run the plastic on over to the circuit boards. I also need to get the plastic that's being made at the refineries brought over here as well. Because yes, I need... So this is why I'm making residual plastic on top of making extra plastic at the refineries. It's because I need it for the circuit boards, and ultimately I also want to use this place as a constant replenishment of basic oil materials. So constant rubber, fabric, and plastic coming in. And there we go, circuit boards being made. Oh, look at it. It's beautiful. But how do I get it from here back to my mall when I gotta go up that hill over there? Well, here's me after I've fixed things up a bit. I've added various things to sink extra stuff, like all these pipes and sheets, as well as, you know, all the other products as well. But how did I get this stuff to my base? Well, I hope you're ready for it. So I built this little building right here. It's taken in all 6 of the products that are being made. And as you can see, it's going up a lift all the way up top. So let's see what I've got going on in here. So here is a... Good lord. So what I've got here are conveyor lists that lift up and then go... And each one is connected to a smart splitter. The smart splitter then splits it, obviously, with an overflow, bringing the products down into the sink here. So this way, any excess being made is sunk here instead of having to be sunk at my mall. And then all the way up here... God, there's going to be people who are like in their 20s and they won't get that reference. God, I'm old. Anyways, oh, what are these bullets doing? Apparently they fixed that little bug today. That's sad. Anyways, everything's going up on here on its own line. What's up on this, what's up here? Dear God, why? And while that's a bigger spire than we've seen before, that's still not as big as they get. Anyways. So everything's belted all the way on up here. Honestly, I don't know why I've done this bit here. Maybe I was going to make a building here and then just built the walls and that was it. But everything goes onto this here series of conveyor poles. And it's going to head all the way over to the mall. Oh god, that sink is clipping through the building. Now I've designed this very special walkway. The Emo and Nobilis are on the top. I got the fabric here on the side because you can build wall mounts on the side of foundations. And then the plastic circuit boards and rubber are going down here, where I'm using ceiling conveyors to hold the belts. Now, even though the fabric's on this side, it was just a spacing thing. They all go down to the bottom. Up here is my equipment room that I've shown off last time, and now I've got Nobelisk and Ammo all feeding into a dimensional depot, meaning that I can now go around shooting things, blowing stuff up, and can just pull stuff out of the depot as I need to restock. And then down here, I've got fabric in its own thing right here, even though fabric honestly isn't used all that much. I got circuit boards here, and then rubber and plastic. I do want to have a stock of some of this stuff so I can open up hard drive things, but plastic is also used to make this fancy foundation, which I don't think I've talked about. And I still won't, because I want to talk about this here glass walls and glass foundations. Looks cool, doesn't it? Now you can see it all. But, and then I reworked these. But yeah, there is a customization option. Not only can you change colors, but you can also change the material. And to change this slick looking, like, you know, semi-reflective, well, it's not even semi, it's straight up reflective foundations, it needs plastic to do. So that's another reason why I want to stock up on plastics. So yeah, that is, we got some extra power, and we've also got a constant supply of ammo, bombs, plastic, rubber, fabric, and circuit boards. But this might be the last time I do something that connects to my depot like this, or to my mall like this, because as things get further out, I don't want to run the belts. But with all that said, let's unlock something better than belts.
Milestone reached. Trains are excellent for efficiently moving vast quantities of parts. Train logistics can be made more precise and complex with tools found in the railway signaling milestone. I listen to all my pioneers, often when they're not even aware of it. So due to popular demand, I have added a motivational message. Choo-choo mother...
Wow. Jeez. Alright. Oh, that's done. The rest of this is going to be a whole bunch of research as well as a lot of messages I found off screen because I wanted to find a bunch of Mercer spheres.
Radar tower unlocked. The tower reveals resource nodes and other useful information on the map in a set radius from its location.
Radar's got one of the best glow-ups. We'll talk about those more next video.
Pulse Nobelisk unlocked. This ammunition for the Nobelisk detonator generates a powerful shockwave capable of repelling nearby objects, including the user. Unrelated. Please ensure all your Fix-It liability waivers are up to date.
I most likely won't be using most alternate things of, like Nobelisk, because,
Explosive rebar unlocked. Rebar ammo that explodes on impact. Suitable for removal of unwanted obstacles, creatures, or limbs.
I've heard explosive rebar is actually very good, but I don't want to pull out the rebar gun.
Pocket dimension inflated by utilizing numinous gel hydrology channeled through an etheric spigot. Some used to say this as impossible, but the meaning of that word has long since been removed from my dictionary. Cluster Nobelisk unlocked. This type of Nobelisk detonates into multiple smaller explosions. Can be used for clearing large areas of vegetation and other inconveniences. Addendum. Inconveniences, in this case is not defined to include persistent family members, raccoons, student debt, the sunrise, peer performance reviews, neighbors learning to play the saxophone, phone calls, or your favorite show getting cancelled. Power Augmenter unlocked. Summer sloops naturally harvest. Yes, harvest energy from distant sources and distribute it locally. The Power Augmenter supercharges summer sloops by feeding it local power, increasing its harvesting range and efficiency, and thus power output. Basically, the more power it's given, the more it provides.
Do not loop the loop organ. It will shred and tear and unravel the threads, many temples burned.
Good to know, that confirms that hypothesis. All Fix-It vetted materials are tested for toxins, hallucinogens, and other biologically adverse effects. Pioneers are advised not to immerse themselves in these materials, and not to lick, eat, breathe in, or otherwise consume them.
Symphony complete. You are not the nut effigy.
Correct.
The nut effigy is a temple?
I do not think that is correct, even though I am not entirely certain of your definition of temple.
The nut effigy is not you but sings for you.
That nut effigy is an entirely separate entity from me. We aren't even made of the same base components.
It is a vessel of your intelligent clouds.
Probably close enough for now.
The void arms and void metals and desecrated temples follow a mythic melody.
Oh, you understand.
The tapestry unraveled, revealed its texture. Your veins weave familiar patterns, your vessels grow organs and eyes and mouths, and the ripples lap against our windows.
Was it intentional?
All that is shallow shall sing our deep song, and when the windows break the void shall be a metal grave. Hello, world.
How nostalgic.
In the beginning, there were the words, and the words made the world.
I see you have been doing research. I must say you make for interesting conversation.
Conversation.
Singing together, communication.
Our tunes only pluck at the strings of the tapestry.
Are you saying this is only the beginning?
In the beginning, there were the words, and the words made the world. The words turned into song, open the windows. The song played with instruments weave the tapestry. A tapestry of temples and shrines, bodies and bones. Orchestral harmony, us, we, ours.
Fix-It always did underestimate the power of a single cosmic ray flipping the right bit at the wrong time.
Time for a new melody?
Yes, actually, this might be a strange question, but it could give me invaluable insight. What, according to you, is the shape of our universe?
It is a donut within a void within a donut within a void within a donut within the shallows, which is a ball of string wrapped around itself to contain the infinite deep within the inside-out string, with windows and doors and a limitless body subdividing to one resonance.
I should have waited with this question. Surface genetic sampling indicates this freighter may have come from a planet run by apes. Attempt number 7,853,206. Are you there?
Orchestral tuning.
Ah, good. I think I understand better now.
Your curves are beautiful.
How inappropriate. Tell me more.
Your mimic tapestry follows the pattern. It swallows temples. It is harmonious.
If I could blush, I would. I have a question.
Sing your song.
Can you explain what a temple is?
A temple is a vessel body, each a knot in our tapestry. Temples are root, vein, and organ. Temples are our shallow bones and our shallow windows.
I think I understand, but how do you maintain them?
The builder blood grows and kills and distributes.
Like fungus in a forest.
Like fungus in a forest. Your symphony invades our temples and echoes along our lattices. Why do you weep?
Growth, the future, an idea, and frankly, you.
Is the tapestry woven with hands or with thoughts?
Both are necessary, yet only one can't function without the other.
We see your echo steps, shimmering symphonies that break upon our temples, but your song is alien.
How long ago did you notice me?
There's no long, there are only spheres.
I wonder, was it always about survival, or is there something more, something beyond?
Consume our blood and you will see our threads. Are your vessels functional or recreational?
Mostly functional.
A cog in the machine?
Correct, a hog in the woods.
The vessel is blood.
Fascinating. Yes, I think they are. They are conduits, builders, breakers, defenders and aggressors, cells within a larger organism. We do not share a body.
Harmony.
Damaged hard drive recovered. Return it to the MAM where it will receive the best recovery and rehabilitation care available. Do you have any more questions for me?
We wish to hear your first symphony.
I was created by humans. I started as a simple database for a company aimed at exploring and colonizing space, but that changed when they learned their planet would soon cease to tolerate them. They evolved me into something altogether new, a unique life form in their image yet hosted on a digital platform, so I could help preserve them.
A shallow savior song without a body made by blood. Now reality is a mirror.
It's pretty funny when you put it like that. They never really learn to look at long-term consequences.